Hello, my amazing family. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you for your love and support. You think if she misses you, she'll say it clearly, cleanly, directly. But that's not how it usually shows up. It shows up sideways, through patterns, through energy, through the things she does when her pride won't let her say what her emotions already know. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of man who sees reality instead of chasing fantasy, subscribe now, because you do not need more soothing lies. You need repeated truth until your standards get stronger than your impulses. Here's what it really means when a woman misses you badly. It does not always mean she wants you back in a healthy way. It does not always mean she's changed. It does not always mean the story should restart. That's the first mistake you make. You see signs and your lonely mind turns signs into hope. Then hope turns into fantasy. Then fantasy turns into self-betrayal. That's called emotional self-sabotage. You are not reading reality anymore. You are reading your hunger. So listen carefully. A woman can miss your presence and still be wrong for your future. She can miss your attention and still not deserve your access. She can miss the stability you gave her, the validation you gave her, the emotional safety you gave her, and still not be ready to meet you at the level your life now requires. Missing you is not the same as choosing you well. Missing you is not the same as respecting you. Missing you is not the same as being able to keep you. That distinction will save you, because the real issue is not whether she misses you. The real issue is what you become when you notice she does. Do you get pulled back into old confusion? Do you start replaying memories like they are evidence? Do you lower your standards because your ego feels flattered? Or do you stay grounded, observe calmly, and let behavior tell the truth? That's the frame. Now let's get into the hidden behaviors, not the obvious ones, the subtle ones, the ones most men misread because they are so desperate to be chosen that they forget to be discerning. The first behavior is when she suddenly becomes visible again without becoming direct. She watches your stories, likes old pictures, reacts to something small, sends a low-risk message that means nothing on the surface. Hope you're doing well. That made me think of you. Did you ever finish that thing? It sounds casual, it sounds innocent, but it is rarely random. That's called a temperature check. She is not just speaking, she is measuring. She wants to see if the door is still cracked open. She wants to know if your energy is still available to her. Why does this happen? Because missing someone creates tension, but pride fears rejection. So instead of honesty, she tests. Instead of vulnerability, she probes. And if you don't understand this, it costs you your center. You answer with too much warmth, too much speed, too much eagerness, and suddenly you are not a man with a life. You are a man on standby. Reframe it. Her reappearance is information, not instruction. You don't lunge, you observe. The second behavior is when she starts orbiting your world without entering it. She asks mutual friends about you. She brings up your name in conversations that don't require it. She becomes curious about what you're doing, who you're with, how you've changed. She may never tell you directly, but somehow your name keeps resurfacing around her. Why? Because absence sharpens value. When you are gone, she can no longer access your consistency on demand. She can no longer feel your presence when it is convenient for her. And what used to be ordinary becomes rare. What was taken for granted becomes emotionally expensive. That's when curiosity becomes a substitute for courage. But again, what does it cost you if you misread it? It costs you discipline. You start performing, you start posting for her, you start trying to trigger her attention instead of building your future. Stop that. The minute you live to be noticed, you stop living to be respected. The third behavior is emotional inconsistency. Hot one day, cold the next. Friendly now, distant later. She opens a door, then closes it. She gives you warmth, then confusion. Most men look at that and think, she's playing games. Sometimes she is, but often something deeper is happening. She misses you emotionally, but she fears what reconnection would require. She remembers your value, but she also remembers the vulnerability attached to it. She wants the feeling without the responsibility. She wants relief without repair. That inner conflict leaks out as inconsistency. One part of her reaches, another part retreats. Why is that dangerous for you? Because unstable signals activate wounded men. If you are still addicted to uncertainty, you will interpret inconsistency as passion. You will call chaos chemistry. You will call mixed signals depth. No, that's called emotional confusion. And confusion is expensive. It steals time. It drains focus. It makes you negotiate with red flags because you are intoxicated by possibility. Reframe it. Consistency is the language of readiness. If it's not consistent, it's not safe enough to build on. The fourth behavior is when she becomes strangely nostalgic. Old songs, old places, old jokes, old memories she suddenly brings back to life. She sends a picture from a place you used to go. She references a night you both remember. She talks about back then with a softness that wasn't there before. Why? Because memory edits pain. Time blurs friction and highlights feeling. She may not be missing the relationship exactly as it was. She may be missing how you made her feel in moments when life felt simpler, safer, more alive. And this matters because men often hear nostalgia and assume accountability is coming next. It usually doesn't. Nostalgia is not repentance. Remembrance is not readiness. Missing the memory is not the same as being prepared to do the work required for a different future. If you forget that, you get dragged into emotional recycling. Same people, same wounds, slightly different wording, same ending, so reframe it. Let nostalgia be what it is, evidence that your presence mattered, not proof that your return is wise. The fifth behavior is when she starts signaling indirectly to get your attention. Maybe she posts things designed to stir curiosity. Maybe she leans into certain pictures, certain captions, certain moods she knows you would notice. Maybe she suddenly becomes publicly reflective, sentimental, or provocative in a way that feels aimed, not accidental. Why would she do that? Because attention is the modern substitute for confession. Instead of saying, I miss you, many people try to create conditions where you feel it, notice it, and make the first move. That way they get emotional reassurance without risking direct exposure. But hear me clearly, you do not have to respond to every signal someone sends just because it was designed to pull you. A baited hook is still a hook, even if it looks like nostalgia, beauty, or longing. And the cost? You lose leadership over your own mind. You become reactive. You become easy to move, easy to stir, easy to predict. Reframe it. If she wants access to the man you are becoming, let her rise to the level of clarity. Stop rewarding ambiguity with immediate availability. The sixth behavior is jealousy that appears where she has no right to claim territory anymore. She notices who follows you. She reacts when you seem happy without her. She becomes colder when she senses another woman around you, even though she is the one who created distance. That's revealing. Why? Because your growth confronts her. Your peace confronts her. Your emotional independence confronts her. It forces a painful question into the room. If he can move on without me, what exactly did I lose? That sting is real, but don't inflate it into destiny. Jealousy does not equal love. Sometimes jealousy is just ego grieving lost influence. Sometimes it is not about wanting to build with you. It is about struggling to accept that you are no longer waiting. If you don't know the difference, you will mistake possessiveness for devotion. And that mistake can put you right back inside a dynamic that nearly broke your confidence the first time. Reframe it. Her discomfort with your progress is not your cue to slow down. It is proof that your progress is real. The seventh behavior is when she reaches out during moments of weakness, loneliness, or transition. Late night messages, holiday check-ins, random emotional confessions when life hits her hard. Pay attention to timing. Missing you often grows louder when her distractions get quiet. When the noise dies down, your absence speaks. When validation from other places feels thin, the mind revisits what once felt solid. This is where many men get trapped because they think intensity equals sincerity. It doesn't always. A person can feel something deeply in a moment and still be completely unprepared to sustain anything healthy after that moment passes. You answer the midnight vulnerability, then daylight comes, and so does distance. Then you're confused again. Why? Because you bonded to an emotional spike instead of a consistent pattern. Reframe it. Respect feelings, but judge decisions. Anyone can feel. Not everyone can follow through. The eighth behavior is the most powerful one because it rarely gets said out loud. She starts comparing everyone after you to the standard you quietly set. She may not admit it. She may even resist it, but she notices the difference in patience, the difference in depth, the difference in steadiness, the difference in how safe she felt when you were aligned, grounded, and real. This is what happens when a man was not perfect, but he was substantial. He was not flashy, but he was solid. He was not loud, but he was there. And once someone has experienced real masculine steadiness, cheap excitement starts to feel exactly like what it is. Cheap, temporary, loud, and hollow. That realization can make her miss you badly. But again, understand the truth. Being missed is not the prize. Becoming unshakable is the prize. That is the thesis most men are not ready to hear. You keep asking, does she miss me? When the deeper question is, am I still living like a man who misses himself? Because if you abandoned your routine, your purpose, your standards, your body, your peace, your boundaries, all because one woman might still be emotionally attached, then the issue is not her behavior. The issue is your self-respect. And this is where everything changes. There is a kind of man she feels after he leaves because his value does not scream. It settles in. It reveals itself in absence. He is not begging to be understood. He is not campaigning to be chosen. He is not posting a performance every day hoping someone from the past notices his glow up. No, he is grounded. He has a direction. He has discipline when nobody claps. He can feel deeply without becoming weak. He can care without collapsing. He can remember without returning blindly. He can love without losing his name. That's the man. He answers slowly because his life is full, not because he is playing games. He listens to actions more than words because he has been trained by pain. He does not punish. He does not chase revenge. He does not need to prove that she lost a great man. He simply becomes one more fully. He has boundaries that do not shake under nostalgia. He has standards that do not melt under attention. He has purpose that does not pause because someone from the past suddenly feels the weight of his absence. He knows the difference between being wanted and being valued. He knows the difference between chemistry and compatibility. He knows the difference between missing and maintaining. That man is dangerous to dysfunction because he cannot be emotionally bought with scraps. So what do you do if you start noticing these signs? Simple, not easy, but simple. First, slow down. You do not reward a hint with a confession. You do not reward curiosity with overexposure. You do not reward inconsistency with deeper access. You stop. You breathe. You watch. You let time reveal intent. Urgency is usually your wound talking. Second, stop romanticizing what broke you. Stop taking the few warm moments and building a castle out of them. Stop editing out the disrespect. Stop rewriting the story because your ego likes being remembered. Missing you does not erase what happened. It does not cancel patterns. It does not rebuild trust by itself. Third, redirect your focus to what is actually in your control. Train, work, build, pray if you pray, read, sleep better, clean your environment, tighten your finances, strengthen your circle, Restore your attention span. You stop checking for signs every hour. You stop trying to decode every post, every view, every like. You stop. You stop. You stop. Because a man who cannot control his attention cannot lead his life. Fourth, if contact becomes direct, require clarity, not aggression, not punishment, clarity. Ask simple questions. Why are you reaching out? What do you actually want? What has changed? What would be different now? That's called emotional leadership. You are not interrogating. You are refusing fog. Fifth, believe patterns over promises. If she wants a place in your present, let her show consistency in the present, not regret about the past, not intense feelings in a weak moment, not symbolic gestures. Consistency, effort, accountability, peace. If those are absent, do not invent them and understand the deeper root of all this. Why do these signs hit you so hard? Because part of you still wants external proof that you mattered. You want to know you were not easy to replace. You want to know your love had weight. You want to know your absence means something. That desire is human. But if you are not careful, that desire will make you accept less than you deserve just to avoid feeling forgotten. That is too high a price. Never pay for validation with your peace. You do not need to be told you mattered by the person who failed to handle you well. Let your life tell you. Let your discipline tell you. Let your standards tell you. Let your calm tell you. Let your ability to walk away from confusion tell you. That is a higher form of proof. Internal proof. Solid proof. The kind no one can give you and no one can take from you. Because here is the hard truth under all of this. Sometimes she misses you because you were good for her, but she is still not good for you. Sit with that. Sometimes the lesson lands after the loss. Sometimes your absence teaches what your presence could not. Sometimes she only understands your value when your energy is no longer available. That can be sad. That can be real. But it still does not make reunion the right move. You are not here to be emotionally available to everyone who finally learns your worth too late. You are here to become the kind of man who recognizes worth, starting with his own. So if she misses you, fine. Let that be her process. You do not need to mock it. You do not need to rescue it. You do not need to rush in and convert it into another chapter. Stay still enough to see clearly. Stay strong enough to choose slowly. Stay honest enough to admit when your desire is trying to outrun your discernment. And if there is one thing you take from this, let it be this. Your job is not to make yourself unforgettable to her. Your job is to become undeniable to yourself. That is the shift. That is the freedom. That is the return to center. You stop asking, how do I get her back? And start asking, what kind of life am I building that only aligned people can enter? You stop chasing signs and start becoming substance. You stop feeding fantasies and start strengthening foundations. Presence versus silence. Reality versus fantasy. Self-respect versus self-abandonment. Pick your side. Because in the end, the man who wins is not the man who gets the last message. It is not the man who gets the ego boost. It is not the man who proves he was missed. It is the man who no longer needs confusion to feel alive. It is the man who can be alone without being empty. It is the man who can be wanted without being owned. It is the man who can be remembered without being pulled backward. Be that man. Let your back straighten. Let your standards rise. Let your emotions mature. Let your life become too meaningful to be derailed by half-clear signals from someone who still doesn't know whether she wants comfort, closure, or commitment. You are not a waiting room. You are not an option on hold. You are not a temporary supply of reassurance. You are not here to be revisited whenever someone feels the ache of your absence. You are the standard now. You are the boundary. You are the reset. You are the answer. And if you want more truth like this, more clarity that cuts through emotional noise and gets you back to yourself, subscribe. Not because I need your follow, because you need reminders when loneliness gets loud and memory starts lying to you. Stay close to people who call you higher. Stay around a community that values self-respect over self-betrayal. If you're building that man, you belong here. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more amazing videos. Your support means a lot.